This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Ready? Focus. Lock in. Buckle down. From the Great Lakes to all corners of the globe, let your passions shine with purpose in your zone. Hey everyone, welcome to In Your Zone, brought to you by INCRadio Northern Midwest. We're here for another episode and with another passionate person to talk about their hobby and their love for, specifically this week, music. So please let us know your thoughts and share your comments with us in our YouTube live chat. And to introduce our special guest for this afternoon, let's focus in on them. All right. And with us today, a familiar face to everyone who's been watching INCRadio Northern Midwest for a while. We've got Tony back on the show. Long time no see, Tony.
Hi everyone, good to see everyone here with two of my good friends, Abe and EJ, and glad to be talking about music today. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Not an expert, but very passionate about it for sure.
I mean, like, the three of us, we've known each other for a while, and we've all shared similar interests in music. You know, like, we're all in the choir in our respective local congregations. We've all played instruments, but for you, I think, at least to me, like, you're one of the more, like, immersed into music, if I could call it that. So
That's such a kind word. Because I always call myself, I geek out a lot about music. And I take that word not in a negative connotation.
mhm.
I wholly embrace it as like, I'm always super excited to talk to you about anything music. So I'm ready. I'm
Let's
ready for the conversation.
let's go back to the beginning, I guess. Then, how did you first fall in love with music? Where did that begin?
I feel like when we were traveling before, because we're in the local congregation of Sterling Heights now, but we used to be a part of the Detroit congregation, and our
Mhm.
drive would be about 30 to 45 minutes, just depending. And we would always listen to cassettes. I don't know if a lot of the viewers here know what that is. I'm sure the older ones do, but the younger ones like,
Hey, hey,
huh?
hey, hey,
What's
hey.
that? But we would listen to cassettes, and there's a bunch of different artists that I grew up listening to.
Mhm.
Really developed my love for music just because we would sing. In that time, we would sing in the car, and after so many times, I mean, like on a cassette, you would have maybe about up to 8 songs on one side, and then you'd flip it, and then you would have the other 8 songs on the other side. So you would kind of memorize everything,
Oh yeah.
and that was just, and I would say that was my first, I guess, dip in the water. And then through the years, I eventually picked up instruments. One of my sister's friends had taught me how to play this song she composed on the piano, so that's something I became really into. The gift was supposed to be for my sister, the keyboard, but I was the one that ended up using it, and I got really into it. And I'm fortunate to be part of a family of organists. A lot of my aunts, growing up before they went on to become other officers, they were organists, and it was really cool to be able to become a part of that eventually down the road. So yeah, ever since then, it's just music became everything to
Yeah,
me.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say we share a similar story. Like my family too. Yeah, like I learned the organ or keyboard from cousins and aunts who were
Yeah.
organists too. So, but that's not the only instrument you know how to. That's the first though that you
That
learned to play.
was
Okay.
the first that it was like piano keyboard
Mm-hmm.
slash organ. Real organ came later with the double pedaling and
Oh.
everything. But in terms of like other instruments, that I was able to pick up just
Mhm.
like self-teaching, and I'm not good at it. When I say that, that's why I specifically said self-taught, is guitar. So that's
Nice.
something that I learned how to do on my own. I started off with those first starters that you get from the superstore, and
Mhm.
I just started practicing on that. Tried to copy a lot of the artists that I admired on YouTube who were young like me, and I was like, oh, if they can play like that, I can too. And I would just work really hard to just kind of copy whatever I could to be able to learn my favorite songs. So
I'm
yeah.
sorry, sorry. I'm gonna call you out a little bit on that guitar
Oh
comment. Like, no,
no.
you're saying you're not good at it. Like when we had that, we had like a musical event at commission where we performed, like we performed different songs. And Tony's vocal, they did not acapella, an acoustic song, and Tony
Oh
was one of
yeah.
the ones who played the guitar. So I don't know what you're saying
Yeah.
about
They
not
don't need
being
any
good.
backtrack. They don't need any
Good
additional
is
music.
relative, guys. Good is relative. It as you know this. You know this as artists. EJ, you're into drawing, and Abe, even as a fellow
Mhm.
musician, we always criticize ourselves pretty harshly. I can carry a few chords, like I can do a song, but to be proficient, like people that you would see in real concerts, like with the lead guitar and like the rhythm guitar, my fingers were dying. Like, just because you're not used to it. Sometimes you have those breaks where you're not able to keep up with it, but these other people, they practice all the time. So that's why I don't call myself a professional, because I don't get to practice every day. I would love to. Maybe that's something that I should do after this broadcast, is dedicate more time to honing my skill a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like what keeps you driven, or like what you love most about music? Like just the variety of instruments you could play, or like the many styles that are around, maybe interacting with others like who also love music as much as you do? Like what do you find that you love, maybe the most, I don't know, about music, if you
The
could if
most.
it's possible, if it's possible to name one, or you can name a
I don't
couple
know if
if
you
you
can
can.
see. I'm like in pain trying to think of an answer right now, because there's
I mean, it can
so
just be
many
what you
things.
love about
Yeah,
music.
there you go.
There's so many things. I wouldn't say there's one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I love about music. Music is such a great um it's such a great tool. Like if you're trying to send some kind of message of inspiration, or you're trying to make people feel something, that's a great tool to use in a positive way. It connects people through experiences, like when you like being at the musical EVM, like everybody was all excited, and everybody's relating to the music, and you feel the energy because they're feeling the connection of what the song is,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the music arrangement itself or the actual lyrics. There's so many things that go into music, like at the top level, just enjoyment, right? That's something that everybody can relate to. But when you get into the deep trenches of music, and why was the music written that way, why were the lyrics arranged this way, I could go on about that for hours. I won't do that to you today, but but that's something that I loved. I can talk about that for hours,
Mm-hmm.
like dissecting songs. Like, oh, why did they do it this way, and why did they specifically choose this part to be unison, and this part to have four voices, and this part to have two, and why are the voice? Yeah, you can see. There's so much about it. There's so much depth to music that is so underrated, and you don't even have to know the same language to be able to
Yeah.
feel something. I
I,
think that's what's so great about
yeah,
it.
I was gonna add that point too. Like, at least for me, I'm currently on like a K-pop music, not binge,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Like, I'm listening to a variety of artists, and even though I don't necessarily fully understand the lyrics that they are saying, because it is in like
Hmm.
Korean a good number of times, but like once you get into what you were saying, like the composition and like their harmonies, for example, or just the arrangement of the music, like that's what and when I talk to other people who love like K-pop as much as I do too, like that's what brought them in. It's not necessarily the lyrics, it's the music
Hmm.
piece itself and what they really
Yes.
love about it. um
I was gonna say that's like me with like I've been listening to like operas, which I like since like other languages,
mhm.
sometimes in, like German, Italian, French. I don't understand what they're saying, but I like it when the voice vibrates.
The vibrato.
That's
uh,
another interesting piece. But go ahead, Tony.
well, I was just gonna say, because you mentioned K-pop, Abe, some
Mm-hmm.
of the songs that actually have made me cry
Mm-hmm.
come from the K-pop genre. There's a specific artist that I won't like promote,
Mm-hmm.
but this band, they I listened to their album like three
Uh-huh.
times coming home from Chicago, and I just wept, and I didn't even understand a lot of the lyrics. They had some lyrics in English,
Right.
but again, that's what's so great about music. I'm the type that I don't shy away from genres.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of go where it makes me feel
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Side question: was it part of a like an OST, like a K drama soundtrack? Yes or no? No, it
No,
wasn't. Okay.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't because I'm not an avid viewer
Okay.
of K drama. It was a friend
Uh huh.
from California that
Ah. Okay.
we just found each other on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and she posted them. And I was like, oh, I really like this song. And then when I listened to it completely, I just tears, tears. So it's not even sad.
Okay.
It's like rock. It's like soft rock.
Ah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
soft rock. It's not the typical like do do do. You know, like the ones with the dances. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Okay. I misunderstood a little bit, but okay. Um,
It's like
but now that we're like getting so immersed into music in this way, I mean, that is one way to continue, learning about different types of music is going to other languages or other cultures too and learning like their styles of music. But for you, how do you continue to develop, learning about music?
some goals that I set out for myself this year. One of them was to improve my singing voice.
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm in choir, but not just for choir. Just in general, just because I really wanted to know how to master it a little bit more. I feel like anything music related this year, except maybe for playing guitar, that I've tried. I've been on a quest to kind of see how I can improve it, even with organ.
Mhm.
Going back to earlier, why is it four voices here?
Yeah.
Why is it two voices here? And trying to pay attention to how the notes are moving on the page, and then that also helps me, to teach better and to explain better to people if they happen to ask me, oh, why are you so into that? And then I get excited and I get to talk about it. And it's something that I feel it's the level of entry with music
Mhm.
is so low, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean it's easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy for anybody to get into it. Kids can get into it, and being able to connect in that way, bringing that connection together, relating because you like the same band or you really enjoyed the song. It's meaningful to me. I feel like one of my love languages is sending songs. Like I think you'll really like this song, or this song reminds me of you. That's how much music means to me. It's super important to me. Big part of my life. Yeah, for
Nice.
sure.
Yeah. I guess through all of that like self study, if we could call it that self study, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. But you've been able to dissect a lot about music, and I think we're gonna put that to the test. Maybe not you specifically, maybe you, but let's go next to our lock in segment. Okay. So, for locking in, we're gonna we're gonna test not only, or we're not gonna emphasize or reiterate how much you know about music, but we're gonna see how much EJ knows about music too.
Oh no. I'm the least who knows about music.
No,
Among the three of us,
I
I'm the
don't
least who
think
knows about musical
so.
terms. So go ahead.
I don't think that's
Let's
really
see. Let's
true
see
at
if I know.
all. But here,
Oh,
where I'm gonna
you
give
expect too much.
I'm gonna give questions to EJ, and then Tony, you'll be the one to correct him if he gives maybe an incorrect answer, or at least if it is right, like kind of elaborate a little bit more on why that is. So, first question that we have for EJ. We all know the different varieties or types of instruments, but
Mhm.
what type of instrument is a trumpet? It's a multiple choice. I'll help you there a little bit. I think it will start off a little easy. So, is it either a woodwind, instrument, a brass instrument, a stringed instrument, or a loud instrument? Okay, so again, these are types of instruments.
Okay, out the gate, I already know it's not a stringed instrument. But if you've heard a trumpet like live,
Hmm.
it is loud.
True.
But I don't think that that's it. I don't think that that's it. Now I'm torn between a woodwind and a brass. Because woodwind, it sounds like instruments that you blow into, and
Hmm.
I feel like that might be what a trumpet is. But I know that it's not made out of wood; it's made out of metal. So, like, is it a brass or is it a wood?
Okay.
Like, what's more important? I'm
What's more
trying to think
important?
like what's more important, like the material or like the process. But I feel like the process is more important, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go with woodwind.
Okay. Final answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock in on that.
All right, Tony. What is it?
So I'm glad that you narrowed it down because I liked your logic, AJ. It's valid. Your logic is valid, but it's actually brass. It's actually brass.
It
Yeah.
was the material.
It was material. Yeah, yeah. So trumpet, trombone, those are your kind of brass instruments. When you think of woodwind, it's like clarinet, oboe, flute. That's an exception to the rule. It's still considered a woodwind instrument, but the rest of the instruments, a reason why they're called woodwind is because they are some of them are made of wood, and also because they have a reed. They
Hmm.
require a reed that you will put in there so you can create the kind of sound, because without that it's not quite the same. But loud was also, I'm glad that you were able to knock out the bottom half. So good job, proud of you.
Yeah, I could never play any brass instrument. My lips don't like pucker the way they're supposed to, so it
I
just
would say I
doesn't
don't
work.
have the
Yeah.
lung capacity to.
Yeah, you need that.
Okay, next question though, EJ. Maybe this one you'll get right.
Mhm.
Do you play percussion instruments a lot?
What? I don't know what.
Okay. Well, one very common one, are drums. So the next question
Okay.
about drums. When it comes to songs, drums can help create what in songs? Unity, that's another multiple choice. Unity, dynamics, rhythm, or all of the above.
Okay. I don't play drums, but I know a little bit about drums, and I know that they're like is like when when you tap your sticks like or when a drummer like taps his stick. I feel
Uh-huh.
like they kind of set up they kind of
Okay.
set up like the song, right?
Yeah.
They kind of started, so I already know that rhythm is
Okay.
in. But like I'm also thinking of like the other two options because I feel like in terms of like dynamics, right? Like I
Yeah.
feel like if you hear a rock song without a guitar, it's like eating a burger without the patty. It's like it still tastes good. It's just it feels like there's a lot of it missing, you know.
Okay.
So I feel like dynamics is also and unity. Yes, maybe because again with the rhythm thing, it kind of it starts the song.
Okay.
So I can also say that kind of puts the song together. So I'm gonna go with all of the above.
Okay. You said all of the above, Tony.
That is correct. For all of the reasons that you said, EJ. Yeah, the tapping at the beginning, it's kind of like when you hear a metronome, right? It
Mhm.
kind of gives you that intro, that it's like 4 beat intro kind of thing. And then everybody starts together. Everybody else can screw up. Like the guitarist could make like a mistake, and maybe like the bass could like slip here and there. Not the drummer. Don't let the drummer mess up. That's why they have a really important job, because once they're offbeat, you can totally hear it. It's really obvious. Yeah.
Yep. I'm like reflecting on like times where I've had to, because I've played marimba before, so that is
Oh,
yeah, like in elementary school. So I kind of know what you're talking about, and I don't want to recall any like bad memories
I'm
of
sure
trying
you
to.
did fine. And you did fine. I'm sure you did
Thank
fine.
you, thank you. This
Don't
was a
stress.
I
long
did
time
the what do
ago.
you call those the triangle one.
The triangle.
Triangle.
That was like my only job.
Nice. Nice and simple. All right, we're gonna go to maybe a more difficult question. It's gonna be it's not multiple choice, but I think we've maybe seen like a common. There's like a YouTube video where it's like study music, and you just have it like play in the background. What two types of genres are most used during study sessions?
See. I already know that. Well, now I'm trying to think. It's like you mentioned YouTube, so I'm thinking like lo-fi because I know a lot of people use lo-fi
Mm-hmm.
like when they were like studying, especially like kind of like 2020s, right? When you're like
When
homeschool,
we were at home.
like yeah, when you're at home, like
Yeah.
which I did too. I listened to like a lot of lo-fi like
Okay.
studying, but I also listened to a lot of like what do you call it? Like, is it called like coffee house jazz? Like it's the type of jazz you'll hear like
Okay.
if you're maybe like at a coffee shop. Like I think that's what it's called, like coffee house, like jazz.
Okay.
Uh, I'm torn between the two, but I feel like lo-fi is
I
gonna be
mean,
like more
I
popular.
asked for
Oh
two,
wait,
so
you
you could
said
name
two.
both.
You said two.
you you could name
Okay, so
both.
I'll make it more generalized. Let's say jazz and lo-fi.
Okay. Those are your two. Okay.
Mhm.
Think Tony, what is the answer?
So for sure, lo-fi. That's one of them. But the second one is classical. Classical. They've been trying to do studies in psychology. I'm not an expert, just based off research.
Mm.
They've always been trying to
Mhm.
do studies in psychology and how the brain reacts to classical music and the different lobes and all of that jazz. No pun intended. But yes, it typically, and it also just depends on the person too. I also, because this is not your what are the two top most helpful.
Yeah.
These are just typically the most recommended.
Mm.
People that will just say that, oh, you should listen to lo-fi, oh, you should listen to classical. Whereas I know people who will listen to hard rock because they need that kind of loudness to help them
Uh,
focus. So
Mhm.
it kind of just depends on you and how your brain works and what works for you. I personally like to listen to um movie scores. Like, I'm
ah.
big on movie scores. Anything that is played as a score because it's supposed to be, and some TV shows, it's intended to set the mood, but also to be less distracting.
Yeah.
That's why it sets the mood, but it's just there in the background. Don't be listening to like really loud like trumpets and and I mean, again, that might work for you, not everybody, but yeah.
Nice.
So good
Okay.
job. High
Yeah, he's
points.
doing really well. Good, nice job. Okay, and then I think a last one for our broadcast today. Last question. Okay, we're gonna go into types of genres again, but this one you have to name the genre. This genre is known for improvisation, innovation, and complex musical structures like offbeat rhythms.
Okay, like improvisation made me think of like what do you call that type of music? Like when you kind of just like I forgot what that's called, but like that came to mind when you said improvisation. But then you
Okay.
also said complex musical structures, which I feel like that's not because that's more like a random kind of like a random thing that you like an ad lib. That's kind of
That's
like an ad lib.
doo-wop, EJ. That's
Doo-wop.
doo-wop.
Is that what
Doo-wop.
it's called? Doo-wop?
Yeah,
Uh huh.
doo-wop. That's
Like,
like Motown. I think that's really no, not
Mm-hmm.
Motown, but yeah, yeah, that's like 50s, yeah,
Yeah.
50s decade
yeah.
music.
Yeah. What do you decide though?
Improvisation, innovation, complex musical structures. I feel like that might be like rock because I know like rock kind of like evolved like to like different genres, and I think like
Okay.
out of like all the music genres that I know, rock has like the most variations.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with
Rock.
rock
Okay.
music.
Okay. He says rock. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but there might be a predecessor to rock that might be. Or am I correct in saying that, or am I just completely off? That this genre could have originated rock music. I could be wrong.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like it kind of helped lay the groundwork in
Yeah.
in, in that way.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
I feel like I know what you mean. I'm not an expert in the
History.
decades in
Music
history.
history.
That's not that part is not. I'm not there.
Okay.
But um, the genre is jazz. So shout out to my mom because she loves jazz, jazz, and you could argue what you said earlier, EJ, like the doo wop. I feel like it falls under kind of somewhat in the umbrella just because with the improvisation apart.
Mhm.
So with the thing with jazz though specifically is that in music, if like you were to look at a keyboard when you go across the keys, you typically hear songs in a key. Like you hear the key of C, like do a deer, a female deer, like you hear it
Mhm.
in that range. So that's like a fixed set of tones in relation to each other, like ratios. With jazz though, it can break a lot of those rules in a key.
Mhm.
So you might hear something that's like a random black key thrown in over here, but it works because of the way that they've kind of set it up, the flow of it. And that gets into this whole technical side of the different modes that are in music. And that's why certain rock artists that are really popular that my mom also loves that I won't mention because we're not promoting them. But I really love them too. And they're known for
Mhm.
a lot of famous songs in the 60s and 70s. And they went, yeah. Sorry, I could ramble about this forever, but yeah. So it's jazz. In short,
It's
improv.
my
It's
I
jazz.
should have gone with like my answer before before the question before.
Your first guy. But I like your rationale though. I like your rationale though, because with the thing with rock is that you could probably argue that the same way like with
Mhm.
improv because of like the lead guitar. I can see that where they kind of manipulate that. But that also I feel like that ties into what Abe was saying
Mhm.
earlier, where that the jazz could have laid down the groundwork. Because rock I don't think came, don't quote me on this. I'm not
Thanks.
I don't think it came till more of like the 70s. Yeah, like the 70s. That's when it started, like 70s, 80s, like more hard rock into the 80s, 90s. So the jazz work, like the doo-wop scene or like the 50s music, all of it lays, even classical lays a lot of the groundwork to the music that we hear today. Um, not like straight, of course. Like
There's
your
an
Beethoven.
evolution.
There's an yeah. There's yeah. It evolves differently. So just so you know. Yeah.
Nice. Love that. No, there's. I know we could be going on and on. Like what Tony said. I mean, she like prefaced this broadcast. They like she could go on and on about music, but
I'm so
sadly,
sorry.
sadly, we do only have a 30-minute show. If
Yes, yes.
if you want part two, you can let us know in our comments. But EJ, we gotta give some room to stuff
Yes.
happening around the district.
Yes, for our buckle down segment, actually, we have the CSD department teaching us how to sign the word music, which is like what our topic is today. So let's learn how to sign the word music.
This is your home.
Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Sister Sophia, and I'm the Secretary for the Christian Society for the Deaf here in the District of Great Lakes. And for today's Song of the Week, I'm going to teach you how to sign the word music. Now, it's a very simple motion. All we have to do is with your non-dominant hand, you're going to lay it out with your palm facing you just like this. All fingers out. And with your dominant hand, you're going to have all of your fingers out and tucked together just like this. And you're going to make a motion as if you're turning a page. Okay, we'll do that one more time. And that's how you sign music. Thank you for joining us today's Sign of the Week, and we hope to see you more in future activities.
This is your home.
And thank you, everyone. And thank you to the CSD department for teaching us, how to sign music. And of before we end, I do want to thank Tony and kind of segueing off that, Sterling Heights. We're giving Sterling Heights a shout out because they celebrated their anniversary at September 5th. Chesterton will be celebrating theirs on the 23rd, and Chicago North the day after that, September 24th. And of course, we want to say our special thanks as well to our district ministers and to all the people who make our show possible. To our district ministers here in the district of Great Lakes, Brother Arthur P. Agaj, our assistant district minister, and Brother Elmer A. Sarmiento, our district minister, and a very special thanks to Brother Wally Taray, our answer station manager, to Brother Angelo Rangavi Manalo, our deputy executive minister, And Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister. Thank you for making shows like ours possible. And to everyone, we hope to see you again next week, next weekend. And remember, in your zone is where you shine the brightest. We'll see you guys again. Goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.